Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan, very excited about this one. Big shout out to David, big fan of you because you're awesome and you've sent me some really cool stuff in the past. But David just sent me a sample of something that is brand new to Redwood Empire, and we like Redwood around here. If you didn't see this video, then I think it was about a month ago now, I did a full distillery review of their core lineup right here on the channel, plus an additional video on their Haystack Needle series, which is also just incredible. So if you haven't seen those, you want to know more about Redwood Empire and what they're about as a distillery and what their lineup is, feel free to check that video out. I'll leave a link in the description to that one. But this one is a brand new product from them, and hard for someone like me to get my hands on it here in West Michigan, especially when they're in California. So this is called the Devil's Tower, and this is what is part of their small lot series that they're doing. This is batch 1, right? Brand new product. It's only 25 barrels total that went into this batch. So if you got your hands on a Devil's Tower bottle, then congratulations. But one of the things I like about this product right out of the gate is that it's like a small batch kind of a thing, but it's also not super expensive. So MSRP is $79.99. So MSRP is $80 basically for this. And this is a high rye bourbon. And when they say high rye, they mean high rye. I know there's several distilleries out there that are like, oh, this is our high rye bourbon. You're like, how much rye? And they're like 18% in the mash or 20%. The Devil's Tower's not like that. When they say high rye, they friggin' mean it. So this is 51% corn, which is the bare minimum to be called a bourbon. And then it is 45% rye. And then it's 2% malted barley, 2% wheat. So very interesting mash bill there. And when they say high rye, they absolutely mean it. Let's crack this open and get it poured. So this comes in at 99 proof. So it's not proof down a whole lot. I love their whole branding. Honestly, Redwood Empire's branding team is killing it. The artwork on the bottles and everything. Wow. Okay, so the nose gives me like mature rye whiskey vibes, right? A rye whiskey that's been able to sit not just, 2 to 4 years, but maybe 4 to 6, maybe 6 to 8. You get those mature yellow sweet fruits that often come with maturation on rye instead of just the peppermint, pine, spice, peppercorn notes. You still get those notes as it matures. They don't go away, but they get a lot more balance along the way the older they get. And this has all that. I get like juniper berries, fresh pine, apricot as well. Maybe even like a honeydew melon kind of a note in there. Okay, the nose on that's fantastic. That just smells like a very good, mature rye. On the nose, like it makes me think of like, hey, this is the kind of rye I'd want to be sipping on in a ski lodge with some buds, you know what I mean? I don't know why, but that's sort of the vibe I get off of that. I get like snow on pine needles. Even get a little bit of honey on that too. All right, I'm excited to dive into this. Cheers. One of the first things I'm noticing is that for a high rye, most ryes, they don't have the same sort of viscosity that you get with bourbon. But even at 99 proof, this is very oily. It's leaving a nice coating on the insides of my cheeks, on my palate, even the roof of my mouth there, which made that finish last a long time. But I get that fresh like muskmelon or cantaloupe right there on the palate, and plenty of like white peppercorn, that pine note coming through nice and clear as well. A wonderful spice that's offset by those mature rye flavors as well. I'm even getting on the tail end of the palate and then into the finish this great sort of barrel funk note, like a nice damp warehouse that I get on mature bourbons as well. And I love that note. A little bit of dry oak with some honey mixed in there on that finish. Nice and drawn out too. Okay, I'm seriously impressed by this. I just want to keep drinking that. A lot of times when you get a whiskey that tries to blend two worlds together, they do so and they leave some good things behind. And they create something that isn't quite as good as the two separate things were on their own. This is not that. This is mixing some great things you get from bourbon with some great things you get from rye. On the bourbon side of things, I'm getting that wonderful barrel funk note that I get on a lot of mature bourbons, caramel and aged oak. And especially that viscosity, that thick mouthfeel that you get from a good bourbon. I get that from the bourbon side. And then on the rye side, I'm getting those mature yellow fruits, the melon, the pine, the juniper, that spice, and they come together seamlessly to make something fantastic. I think I'm gonna say, besides the Haystack Needle bottle that I got to try, This is probably my favorite thing I've had from them. I would love to do a blind of like my favorite bottles from them, from their core lineup, and with this in it and see where it ranks. But just kind of thinking back on the experiences I've had so far with Redwood Empire, and they've been overly like positive, but this is, I think, my favorite bottle I've had from them, aside from the haystack needle. They crushed that. Now, I will admit, I'm a fan of ryes. I like rye. I like that spice, the mint, the peppercorn, all of it. But I'm also a huge fan of bourbon, so this is right up my alley. Redwood Empire, hey, seriously, congratulations on this bottle, because this is very good. If I see a bottle of that on any shelf, I will buy it, period. Redwood Empire, Devil's Tower, Batch 1. I approve this whiskey. I think for the price point, if I have to give this thing a score based on my scale, I gotta give this one high points. Price, innovation, taste, nose, all of it. It's a great product. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this a solid 8.9. It's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's one of the best whiskeys I've had this year. I know. It's still January. But still, that's really good. 8.9. Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Hey, if you want to get involved in our Discord, come in, say hello, chat with us. We'd love to meet you, greet you. The link to the Discord's in the description, totally free. And a big shout out to my Patreon supporters who help fund these bottles that I get to pick up and review here on the channel. Keep the content flowing. You guys are rock stars. You are literally the reason this channel can continue to exist. You're the reason I can make as much content as I do. The support that you guys show me, whether it's supporting via the Patreon or supporting via sending in samples for me to try whiskeys that I'm interested in but just can't get my hands on, because you can't own everything. You know, we sort of come together collectively, our supporters here on this channel. It's every bit as much your channel as it is mine at this point, because half the stuff that I get to try comes directly from you guys. So for that, I am extremely grateful. Thank you so much. Feel free to check the link to the Patreon in the description as well. You can join for as little as $1 a month to support the bottles we get to cover here. Cheers, my friends! May you live richly and get better with age. Be warm and well-fed, and hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.